It's your boy L APA coming through with another video. You guys already know what it is, man. We're here for the youngsters, for the reoffenders, man. So that the former doesn't get into the system to begin with, and the latter doesn't go back into the system, right? And as you could tell by the good old caption, that uña, that thumbnail, man, it's gonna be a hard topic for me, man. My mama, rest in peace. I don't know what title I'm gonna name it yet, but it's something that I really have been trying to avoid. But I think it's a very special topic, not only for me, and as far as losing my mom's. I'm telling you, man. All my AP family, this is something that even some of my day ones have not heard about yet. You know, um, they know what happened, meaning like as far as my mom passing away, but I never really been raw and open about it. And I guess it's a time, man. I've been avoiding it for a very long time. You know, I was talking to an individual the other day. Um, his his initials are OTO. The first O starting with OG, and he encouraged me to tell the story. Um, Even being more descriptive than I have been before, and it's not easy for me. You know, it's not easy for me. Um, so growing up as a youngster, man, like a lot of you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not going to be unique in the sense where every single one of you have a mother and a father, but it's going to be unique in the sense where this is my story. It's not your story, it's my story. There may be correlations, parallels, and things like that. And anybody, first and foremost, before I move forward, anybody that's lost their parents before their time, um, my condolences, my best wishes, my prayers to your loved one's memory. And I'm just gonna put it out there. So, growing up as a kid, man, me and my carnal, you know, we were running amok. We were running amok. We were out there in the streets doing our thing. And my mom's, man, after she separated from my dad, um, their divorce, they got divorced when I was 8 years old. I had a dad up until the age of 7 and 8. And I was really close with my dad as well, in the sense where whenever he always showed me love, you know what I'm saying? But he was always working, messing around, getting high, meaning smoking weed and drinking. Smoking weed and drinking was his thing. Um, and whenever I remember him being with me, he always showed cariño, love, what's up, son, things like that. We used to watch the Cesar Chavez fights, the Mike Tyson fights, pay-per-view, things like that. Even years before that, all the late 80s and early 90s movies, I watched them with my pops, you know. My Theo too, man, they were all involved. They were all knuckleheads. My uncle was from Middle Side Los Chicos in Santana. So I told you before, man, I remember my uncle rolling up with a Celica on Dayton's. Who remembers a Celica on Dayton's, man? A black Celica on Dayton's. Bumping super freak. She's super freaky. Boom, 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 boom. That's what it was. So that's my memories, man. That's my memories as a kid growing up. Those were my role models. And then I have my mama, And my mama was a paisita. I love her to death. We After a while we used to rent out rooms. I mean, after they got separated, we used to rent out rooms with little cholitas. I remember we rented out this room to 3 cholitas. Wannabe cholitas. They weren't really like doing time or nothing like that. But they kind of remind me of the 925 Rucas, honestly. They must be in their well into their mid 50s by now. But yeah, man, there was drama. There was drama in the house because they used to always. I remember 2 of them fighting over this paisa dude, man, and this was one of the same paisa dudes that actually ended up being my mom's boyfriend, who was a player. They called him Michoacan, Ceros. pinche ceros. If I ever see that fool again, I'm gonna whoop his ass, bro. Not because he got with my mom and then cholas. I respect that. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hey, a player will be a player. It is what it is. My mom was a grown ass woman. I love her and everything. She was only with one dude her whole life. That was my pops. And after that, I mean, shit. This dude, he had honey on his tongue. Honey used to drip from his tongue. The tongue, honey used to drip from it. Meaning, silver tongue devil. He had two sisters fighting over him. I could only imagine my mom remembering that after she was divorced from my pops, or during the divorce, and she rented out the room, like I said, to the three sisters. Two sisters were fighting over this dude. And then 2-3 years later, when we were living in the house no more, I remember him being with my mom, and I was just like, as a kid, I remember like thinking like, that's that dude. I didn't think about this shit back then. I'm talking in hindsight. In hindsight, as a grown ass man. Not now, but as a teenager. I seen him years later when I was already gangbanging and things like that. And that's a story for a different time. This fool got caught with fucking bags, garbage bags of weed, did 5 years in the feds. Anywho, so the reason why I want to whoop his ass is because of some different issue. Some different issue that has to do with the neighborhood and things like that. As far as what he did, player thing, hey, bro, I can't hate on him. It is what it is, man. Do I condone it? Do I endorse that type of behavior? Of course I do. But, I mean, it is what it is. So, my mom's, man, it was no surprise that this dude was able to get over on my mom, telling her what she wanted to hear. She had three kids, single mom with 3 kids, me, my brother, my sister. Coming to find out, his name wasn't even Arturo. Ceros was his nickname. It was just a whole thing, bro. He was illegally over here, like I said, from Michoacan. But later on in life, man, he plugged me into a lot of shit. So look, that's just to give you a little background. Me growing up in the house, the drama going on in my house, and my mom's, man. But the girls were cholitas, out of control. And my mama was just a regular paisita. She was never involved in shit like that. So yeah, man, we ended up losing that house because, of course, they got the house together, and that was that. So after that, it was renting rooms, room from room to room to room to room to room to room. 4 of us, 3 kids, mom, all over Santana. Right after we lost the house, we went over to North Hollywood. We lived in North Hollywood for about 2-3 months. We were actually, coincidentally, this was about 98, I think 97, 98, I think 98. I was already, by this point, by the time we went to North Hollywood, I was already, like, we all had already started banging. We were young. I had already been locked up the first time, so she tried to escape to North Hollywood. Went to North Hollywood. That's when the bank robbery happened. That big ass North Hollywood bank robbery happened. With them, I think it was dudes from Kosovo or some type of Balkan type white boys. They shot it out with the cops and they did all that nonsense. And then we came back to Orange County. My tias are all from LA. All my primos are from LA, downtown LA, Vacas, things like that. North Hollywood locals. Not North Hollywood locals. Alley locals. North Hollywood, the San Fernando Valley. So, yeah, man, we came back. You know, she was trying to do the best for us, get 2 jobs. And what did we do? Instead of going to school, staying in school, we wouldn't go to school. We did school. We do all that stuff, all that nonsense while she was working. Whenever somebody would, from the school would call to let her know or to speak to an adult and let her know that we were missing school months at a time, we were the ones, or one of my older homeboys was the one picking up the phone talking about, okay, yeah, this is the parent. You know, okay, we'll make sure he gets there without my mom knowing. You know, and that just tears me up to this day. That shit tears me up to this day because we took advantage of a good ass woman. She was sitting here working her ass off so that we could go get ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like she was here illegally. Um, she wanted us to get a college degree and be the better, be the successful part of her life. You know, and unfortunately, our role models by this point were other dudes. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't college professors. It wasn't doctors. It wasn't policemen, firemen. It was nothing of that sort. So like I said, man, my mom's was the type that used to go looking for us. She used to wake up at 12, 1 in the morning. She wouldn't find us in her bed, and she would drive around all night looking for 14, 15-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old, looking for us, me and my brother, to the point where my homeboys used to see my mom looking for us, and we used to hide. We used to run into the parking lots and tell our homeboys to let her know that they hadn't seen us. And even our older homeboys were like, "Hey, bro, you should just go home, bro. Go home. That's your fita. Go home." And we're like, "Fuck that. Hell no. We're from Logan. The fuck? What's up, homie? Like, what the fuck? Like, what's up, dog? You weak or what?" And then when I would say that to them, yeah, I could tell they'd be mad. That was a little knucklehead, man. My brother too. And when we would say that shit to them, they'll be like, they'll get mad, but they'll be like, "Nah, you Dominoes. Don't trip. Don't trip." Because they knew that we were gonna do whatever we are gonna do, no matter fucking what. And this is the '90s, guys. This is the '90s. It's a different era. And so yeah, man. My mother was a good ass woman, man. She was a good ass woman. I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be a lot of people that can relate to my story. To my heartache and my guilt. So, moving forward, my brother, every time my brother started getting locked up before me. So every time my brother used to call from juvenile hall, things like that, I used to answer all the calls, not knowing how expensive these calls were. Before these fucking calls, now you could put $20 and get like 10 calls, 15 calls, however it is now. Back then, one call would cost you $100. It was ridiculous. So my point is, I used to burn out all the phone bill. And my mom was like, "How the fuck am I gonna pay this shit? You accepted all his calls. I can't pay this shit." You know what I'm saying? So now we have no phone bill, no phone line. Like I said, it's the '90s. So by the time I hit the juvenile hall system and kept going through the juvenile hall system into the county and into prison, bro, my mom's, she wasn't taking care of us. She couldn't. And my mom's couldn't do shit. She couldn't. After she realized that me and my brother were lost causes, I remember the first time in the county. Well, actually, the last time in the halls, but the first time in the county when my mom came to visit me. That's when she gave up hope. She told me, she's like, every time before that, she was like, "Cabrones, pónganse las pilas. Ya paren esto, stop this, stop that, stop that." The first county jail phone call, she didn't trip on me. She didn't trip on me, and she finally accepted it. Meaning, like, we had a good conversation without her, quote unquote, bitching. And that's when I finally realized that the reason she wasn't complaining or ripping an asshole to us was because that's when she finally gave up. And she was like, "This is who you are. It is what it is. I've tried." Obviously, she didn't say these things to me, but we had a good conversation. And when I went back to the cell, to the dorm, I was like, damn. It took me a few minutes to realize it. But me having a good conversation with mom, like, "Hey, mom, how you doing? Hey, mijo, ¿cómo estás? No, pues está bien, mijo, nomás cuídate y cuídense." That's when I finally realized that she had gave up. And she finally stopped tripping on me. Something that I always wanted, right? Something that I always wanted, but she finally stopped tripping. And I realized it was because she had given up. And now all she really wanted was like, damn, just survive. You know, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, just survive. That was really that hit me hard. That hit me hard. Did I keep doing what I was doing? Hell yeah, because I still believe in the cause. But like I said, that's when I realized that shit. You know, um, through all my term, my mom sent me about two packages in my whole 15 years. Obviously, two packages. One package, one special purchase. I think she ordered me a CD player for $50, and then she sent me a $30 package, $80 in 15 years. Of course, yeah, because she was broke. I mean, she was trying to pay her own rent. My mom was working at Taco Bell and places like that. At a certain point back in the 90s, my mom had her own little store, 97-cent store, not 99, not a dollar store, not 98, 97-cent store. She opened up that store because of a lawsuit that she won from Taco Bell, because when she opened up one of the big drawers, a lot of plates fell on her head. And then in the warehouse, my mom had bad luck in getting hurt. She had a lot of disability money. And in the warehouse, big old tubes fell on her arm, to where her bone had scar tissue type shit. She had surgery. So anywho, in one of these compensation type deals, she opened up a 97-cent store back in the day. My dad fucked that off. It was what it was. So we had good experiences when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? But us being who we are, it never lasted. So the last time I spoke to my mom was when I was a new corporate, and I can't lie or even pretend like I never had closure, like I'm sitting here like, oh, I wish I could have talked to my mom for the last time. I can't say any of that. The last time I spoke to my mom was maybe about 2009, 2010. Um, I told her I'm sorry for everything, and my mom was like, "No, no te preocupes, mijo. Don't worry, mijo. It is what it is, But in Spanish. And I told her, "I love you, mom, man. When I get out, I'm gonna take care of you." That's all I wanted. Take care of my mom when I got out. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that was the last time I talked to her. So fast forward to 2014, we're trying to get a hold of my mom, my pops, my brother, everybody. We couldn't get a hold of her. I was in the shoe, obviously. I had a very minimal contact. Fast forward to 2016. I got out the shoe after 3 years in there, and a few years in there. Um, got to Kern Valley. That's when I was in Kern Valley. And I was sitting there in the cell. I got there, man. We were making money, and I started getting high. Not every day, but I just happened to be partying that weekend. It was a weekend thing. Um, did up a bed to the nose, boom, I was loaded, laying down, I was on the cell phone. And anybody that has a cell phone in prison, you already know what it is. We got money. Um, so I was on the phone, boom, I'm checking my Facebook. And then at the time, some of you have seen my lives and you see my baby's mom, my first baby mama, Brooke. Brooke got at me, and she was the one that let me know that my mom was in the hospital on life support, or sick as fuck on life support. And she's like, your sister wants you to get at her. And obviously, my heart dropped. But at the same time, I was pissed that this woman that I want nothing to do with, my baby's mom at the time, we had serious issues. I was like, damn, out of all the people, I wouldn't want her to let me know. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is my mom's. It is what it is, I had to put my pride aside, all the issues aside, and I was like, damn, okay, cool, boom, get at my sister. Now, you guys have never heard me mention my sister, never, maybe one time. if it had to do with this subject. My sister is dead to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to do with my sister. Um, those of you that really know me, I have a good heart. I have a righteous heart. I'm a humble, righteous individual, and I go out of my way to be the person that I am. So when I say I don't fuck with my sister, just know that she's a fucking foul human being. But I'll still let you be the judge of her. So she went over there. Sure enough, we're trying to look for my mom for 2014 to 2016. We're trying to look for her. We couldn't find her. When she finally popped up, she was on life support in Moreno Valley. We didn't know what the fuck had happened. And let me tell you, when me and my brother started doing time and my mom gave up on us, my mom started drinking. My mom never did drugs, never drank, never did none of those things. When she gave up on us, she started drinking. She started her solitude, for her shame, her shame of us. Her shame of us drove her to drink and drink and drink and drink. What she didn't know was that one of her first surgeries happened before late 80s, early like 1990, 91. Before they were testing the blood for hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, or AIDS. My mom didn't know she had hep C. She didn't know she had hep C. So when she was drinking and drinking and drinking because of us, I was her last disappointment. Because I was the one that she thought that was going to prove her right. Because my brother had it. My older brother. Hepatitis C is a liver disease. So if you drink any type of alcohol, it will kill you 3 times faster than any regular alcoholic addiction. My mom passed away at the age of 49 from liver disease. Her liver failed, her kidneys failed, her organs failed. She didn't know she had that. Because before the early 90s, they wouldn't test for anything. She had a blood transfusion off one of her surgeries. My mom wasn't an intravenous user, meaning a needle user. My mom never even smoked weed, bro. So it's hard for me to tell this because I carry that guilt in my heart every single fucking day. And it's hard for me to say this, man. For anybody out there, man, youngsters out here, if you love your mom, reoffenders, you love your mom, especially the older cats. If you love your moms, your pops, whoever it is, man, you can't get your moms or your dad back. And there's nothing like losing one of your loved ones in the system. I didn't even get a phone call, bro. I didn't even get a phone call in the prison system. Nobody called the prison to let me know that my mom passed away. My baby's mom had to let me know through Facebook. This is how selfish my family is. My sister was. She didn't even fucking call the system, the prison system, to let us know that my mom had passed away. And this is before. I had already been not talking to her before this. And that's a story. This is family beef. I'm not gonna speak on it much further. But my sister is one of them girls that she's worthless to me. And not because of this only. But like I said, man, don't carry no hate in your heart. It's okay not to talk to somebody that you don't want to talk to. But if you don't want to lose your moms while you're in prison, you don't understand how helpless you're gonna feel. You don't understand how bad this fucking shit feels when you're in the cell and you have no control over any of these things. You can't go to the funeral, can't go to the wake, can't bury her, nothing. With that being said, man, I'm good. You guys be good. APA, I'm out.